From the University of South Carolina, your news, your sports, your weather. Carolina News begins now.
In order for a traumatized combat veteran to go from this to this, a transition of healing through the Big Red Barn's PATH program could make all the difference. With the recent deaths of 2 high school football players here in South Carolina, safety has become the focal point. I spoke with Camden head coach Brian Ripp to discuss why safety for his own players is so important. The 24th annual Carolina Down Home Blues Festival is more than just about music. It's not about telling stories, but it's about expressing feelings. Boo at the Zoo attracts people from all over the state. I spoke with 2 families who've been here for the last 3 years. After the break, I'll bring you the sights, sounds, and scores of the past weekend in sports. And coming up, Luke Doty was a hero versus the Commodores, or was he? I will have that and more in just 2 minutes. Stay right here, and we will be right back. That's right, Owen. In the midst of U.S. forces departing Afghanistan back in August and the Taliban taking over, it forced many Afghans to evacuate from their homes and immediately sought asylum. The Afghan Reception and Service Program reached out to a local service for their assistance.
I was sitting down eating chow with one of my fellow Marines, Patrick Kenny. They needed a Humvee driver to go out. We flipped a coin to see who was going to drive the truck, and he drove. They're all your closest brothers. You know, we've lived together, trained together, boot camp. Kenny was dead, and just thinking like that could have been me.
Many veterans of war have different stories, but returning home, a different person.
Dealing well with my experiences in Iraq at all. I was really closed off. I mean, I was going to the vet center and doing my appointments and stuff, but as far as social interaction and things like that, it just wasn't happening anymore. I was pretty locked down.
In order for a traumatized combat veteran to go from this to this, a transition of healing through the Big Red Barn's PATH program could make all the difference.
So the Warrior Path program, as we talked about post-traumatic growth, provides wellness practices, progressive and alternative training for healing heroes. It's a 7-day residential live-in course. As you depart, and you go back to your home and to your family, you now have 18 months to continue to grow and learn with those 6 to 8 brothers and sisters.
Just the immediate difference in things in myself after going through just that first week and then being set up with a group of individuals that are going through similar things and having that small unit cohesion built. There's a support system there, there's a backbone. Having that cohesion that everybody misses when they get out rebuilt again, that's life-saving.
It gave me the keys to my cage. And also showed me where they were at. They were in my pocket the whole time. And by day 3, I had 1 foot out my own cage and couldn't wait for the other days to come so I could go home and show my family and my loved ones like, hey, I'm back.
The PATH program runs nationwide in 10 locations, helping 720 veterans each year.
Like, I smile again.
Heroes helping heroes, turning struggle into strength. For Carolina News, I'm Jay Weaver. Eighteenth-century merchants, craftsmen, and reenactors deliver an explosion of history while bringing the Battle of Camden back to the future. But for one reenactor, it's become a family tradition.
My first event was I was 2 days old, marching in a parade with my mom carrying me on her back. So I was actually born into this hobby. My parents and grandparents started back in the bicentennial in '76. So when I came along in the mid-'90s, it was just a natural progression.
Both experienced and youthful perform each year.
I played the fife out in the battle, and we marched around. It was kind of chaos.
In this particular battle, the Red British Loyalist Army win the Battle of Camden, ousting the South Carolina Patriots in blue. As it happens, I'm wearing blue on the same battlefield, which means I'm at the wrong place at the wrong time. While the battle may have shaped South Carolina's future, craftsmen built the structures to develop it.
I have a series of plans here that show you how they built the trim and the different moldings, doors, windows, cornices for houses.
As reenactors march, ride, and shoot, the audience gathers to watch and learn. History has a way of bringing us back year after year.
I'm 75 now, so I don't know. As long as I can get up and come out here with my tools, I'll do it.
For Carolina News, I'm Jay Weaver. In Camden, an annual home to Low Country, Roadhouse, acoustic, and folk blues, COVID-19 did its best to hush the music scene last year. But on this autumn day at the Arts Center, a traveling blues band plays for a crowd. The 24th annual Carolina Down Home Blues Festival is more than just about music. It's not about telling stories, but it's about expressing feelings.
It's from the soul, you know. I mean, at least that's what it is for me. When I sing the blues, I am bearing my soul to you. And that's where it should come from. It should come from, you know, your gut, something that really moved you.
Barron's, a local blues club, draws festival goers, and one explains what the blues means to him.
Coming up in the 60s, 50s, 60s, dealing with immigration and racism, and the blues plays back on a lot of those hard times that families went through.
The blues has a different meaning for all who listen. For Carolina News, I'm Jay Weaver.
From the University of South Carolina, your news, your sports, your weather. Carolina News begins now.
To my surprise, he did the monster mash.
Riverbank Zoo hosted their annual Boo at the Zoo last night, and they welcomed all. Director of Communications, Susan O'Kane, says this event may get people to come back.
A special event such as Halloween, they may have never been to the zoo before, but they've been to the zoo now for Halloween and they see how great it is, so maybe they want to come back for another visit.
With spiders and howlers taking over the zoo, Halloween spirit is in the air. But don't forget the candy.
Yeah, what's your favorite part?
Trick-or-treating.
The candy?
Yeah.
Awesome, isn't it? What's your favorite candy?
I'd have to say Rolos.
Boo at the Zoo attracts people from all over the state. I spoke with two families who've been here for the last 3 years. How many years have you come out to do this, ma'am?
This will be our third year. Yep.
It's just a great time. I mean, it's great to see the lights and the animals and see all the other costumes, and the kids have a wonderful time trick-or-treating.
Even Dr. Vankman, Egon, and Janine showed up.
This is probably like our third or fourth year. Yeah.
And you enjoying yourself?
We love it. We do it every year.
That's great.
While Boo at the Zoo is an annual event, families from across the state come to create memories and scares as a yearly family event. For Carolina News, I'm Jay Weaver.